pretty sure when Shark made this Hoover, they made it for outdoor gyms.
So what's the plan for today?
The plan for today, we're going to do a leg session today. So I'm over my rehab now. I've done quite a lot of like volume stuff for my leg, for my knee rehab. So now I'm back to proper training again now. So today's session, going to do a bit of activation. Just done my warm up or my stretching. I'm going to do a bit of activation now. Going to get movement of the barbell, and then I'm going to do something explosive, where I'm going to do power cleans. I'm going to do a strength element where I'm going to do front squats. Then I'm going to do some strength accessory stuff where I'm going to do some RDLs and some single leg work. And then I'll finish up with some calf and tib and core conditioning. So yeah, explosive, strength accessory, and then calf conditioning. So yeah, should be a good session. It's normally trousers in Dell box, but we're going legs today, so shorts it is. When you're warming up, you know, if I was like cooling down, I could do a static stretch. So just hold this for 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I could either sink into it, and as I hold and as I breathe, I'll fall deeper and deeper in the stretch. Because I'm just warming up, I try to keep things dynamic, just move. You know, it's just a little routine I go through every time I train. There is a copy of this on YouTube actually. So I've always been tight in the ankles, so I'm just doing a bit of banded ankle mobility. So the band's pulling the ankle, pulling this joint down and back, and I'm trying to drive my knee forward and then drive my heel down and just try to create more space in here. A lot of people struggle with ankle range. And ankle range, this is how you want it. You want your knee way above your toe, way in front of your toe with your heel down. And when I squat, this is ideally how it'd be, but it's not exactly like that. So just before I train, not for too long, just going to do some banded ankle mobility just after my normal movement flow. Just try to create more space. If you get a knee injury, it's normally because of your ankle. Normally it's because of your ankle or your hips, as in like your glutes are weak or you don't have enough ankle range. So this is just it's a basic stretch. Band's low, pulling down at an angle. I kneel on the band just to make sure it's pulling nice and tight, and then I get my weight on my knee and just drive it forward. This is all the things I hate doing, so I do it as part of my warm-up. I don't want to do this, but I know it will do me the weather good. So because I'm going to do some cleans, I'm just going to do some deadlifts to start with. So I do 3 deadlifts, 3 shoulder press. 3 of these forearm releases, I showed you this last time. This is just getting me used to this range. Then 3 back squats. Just start getting this body moving. Okay, right, actually before I put this on, I always see people ragging around this bar, ragging around the plate, can't pull it on and make a big drama of it. When you're putting the weights on, stand this side of the bar. So I'll get the 20 plate, I line it up, and then from this side I squat down, flat back, pick and drag, and then it goes on. When I take it off, I stand on this side of the bar. So I squat down, I pick, and I drag and it comes off. If you try to put it on like this, you'll be messing with it, dragging it, and that's not how you put on a 20 kilo bar, a 20 kilo plate. You've got to think it's a 20 kilo plate, 20 kilo bar. It's heavy. It's not going to just you're not going to muscle it on. So when you're taking it off, you pull it this way. Squat, pick, drag. When you're putting it on, you stand this way. Line up, pick, drag. Top tip, here we go.
Okay, what are you doing right now, and what are you putting on your wrist?
Right, so with training aids, there's some that you can use all the time, some that you shouldn't rely on. So with, say, like a back support with a weights belt, you should get used to training without a weights belt, because then it teaches you how to brace, and then you use a weights belt when you go heavy lifting, so below 3 reps. Knee sleeves you don't need to wear all the time unless you've really recovered from an injury, but at the same time you don't need to wear knee sleeves. You should get strong without them, and then you put them on when you go, you know, heavy lifting or you're working a strength cycle. Wrist wraps are good if you've had if you've got weak wrists or you've damaged your hand before. So I've broke my hand before, so I'm quite weak in here. So I literally put wrist wraps on when I do Olympic lifting, and only when I do Olympic lifting and front squats, because that's when I'm in that position. And I put a lot of pressure onto my wrist. So I use these when I do that lift. I wouldn't use it for any dumbbell work, any machine work, any dumbbell work, any barbell like bench pressing work, because I don't need them, because I need to use that time to get strong. But if I'm doing anything explosive and I'm going to pick the bar up and catch it here, I am exposing my wrist a little bit, and because I've damaged my wrist in the past, you know, that's why I wear these. So as a training aid, I'd always wear these when I do Olympic lifting. But like things like weights belts and knee sleeves, there's a time to use them, but you shouldn't live in them, because then you just rely on them too much. Right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to do some power cleans. I am setting my timer, because like I said last time, the best thing you can do in a gym is set a timer, because that keeps you honest. So I'm going to set an 8-minute timer, sorry, a 1-minute timer for 8 intervals. So it's called an EMON. Every minute, on the minute, I'm going to do 8 rounds, and I'm going to do 1 power clean, 1 hang power clean. Okay, so there's my timer. Right, and we'll do it. Good. So yeah, today's session, I'm going to do 8 rounds of this. With EMONs, what I tend to do, and with Olympic lifting, like I'm just trying to get some explosive work back into my training. So with an EMON, I'm not bothered about the weight too much. This is a weight I know I can do. And what I tend to do, my rule is that if I do 2 good reps, then I'll go up the weight. If I do an okay rep, I'll stay at that weight. If I do a bad rep, I'll definitely stay at that weight. So that was my first rep. I'm going to do a couple more at this. I'm probably going to do at least 4 at this to make sure I'm fully warmed up. And then if I feel good, I'll then creep it up a little bit. If not, I'll just stay at this weight. Okay, and I'm just going to do 1 full, 1 hang every minute. Good. Right then, squatting. So I want to do front squats today and build up to 3 sets of 6 at a decent weight. I'm just going to do a couple sets of back squat first, just to loosen my knee up a bit, because it's still a bit sticky. So I'm just going to do some back squats, get legs feeling good, and then I'll load up front squats. If you're going to squat, there are 3 styles of shoes you can use. I'll go get you some in a minute as demos. You've got Olympic lifting shoes, and they're shoes basically with a bigger heel. Metcons, which are developed trainers with support structure to help you support heavy lifting. Or barefoot shoes. They're the only 3 styles you should be using the squatting. If you use running shoes, you won't have any support, you won't have any stability, and you'll probably damage the shoe. So I'll be right back. Let me grab you some shoes.
2 hours later.
Okay, we're back. Right, so first of all, Olympic lifting shoes. These are the Reebok, this was a WIT special Reebok lifting shoe. Very solid, so this is absolutely solid platform, raised heel, and the raised heel just allows you to fall into a better squat. If you ever see someone squatting on little plates, this is to help them get into a better squat. So it kind of, if you can't do a bad squat in these, this will help your ankle range, this will hide bad hip range. So you use them in Olympic lifting because you need to get into the perfect squat incredibly quickly. So if you're going heavy, you want to develop your Olympic lifting, then you should spend some money on lifting shoes. Next, like I say, you've got Metcons. So it's a trainer more than a lifting shoe, but it has support. And Metcons were developed in the CrossFit world just so you could have a shoe for everything. Like you could run probably up to 400 meters in this. So if you're doing a circuit of 400 meters, some deadlifting and something else, these will be perfect to wear. But these are also great overall shoe just to train in. I try to do a lot more stuff in just these now and stay away from lifting shoes, because when you use lifting shoes, that covers up any bad ankle range or hip range. So like I spent a long time just in lifting shoes, always squatting well and moving well, and then as soon as I took the shoes away, I had no ankle mobility, so now I had to work on that. I try to do a lot of my stuff just in Metcons now. You then got barefoot shoes, so if you've got loads of ankle range, I mean in theory this is what we should use. I should be able to clean, squat and do everything and run in like barefoot shoes, but because I've still got mobility issues and there's stuff I need to work on, I'm not going to use these for lifting. So I tend to work in these and walk around in these and do a lot of leg training in these, but for normal lifting like limb lifting, squatting, I would use Metcons. Then I might change for these for the rest of the session just so I'm more flat. So for like doing lunges, single leg deadlifts and stuff. The reason you don't wear, these are my brand new books, my brand new running shoes. You know, when you get running shoes, go to a running shop, run on the treadmill, and then get them the measure ones. Loads of sponge, loads of bounce in them. If you try to squat in them, you'll be all over the place. It doesn't give you a solid platform. Also, these shoes are made to take your body weight running. They're not meant to take squatting. So if I start squatting in these 60, 70, 80 kilos through the hill, driving into the hill, I'll then collapse. I'll damage the cushioning inside them, and then what would happen is I'll go running one time and then my calves will swell up because there'll be like a collapsed like cushioning, because it's not made for me to drive my heels through the ground with weight. So then there'll be a collapsed cushioning and my calves will start hurting, and then because I've done that before years and years ago, and then what would happen is that you'll go to the running shop and they'll go, yeah, your shoes are fucked. So don't use running shoes to lift in. You know, it's 2022. There are shoes you should use, which are either barefoot shoes, Metcons, or like lifting shoes. I used to clean that. Not anymore. Soon. Whew. So I'm going to use this bit of kit. It's called a Tib Bar. Now your tibs, a slab of muscle that runs in front of your shin, is a muscle that is underrated. We don't train enough. It's quite difficult to train. You either like lean back and you try to, lift your toe up. I mean, it's hard to load. So some legend made this, the Tib Bar guy. And yeah, I'm a big fan of it, so I'll show you how to use it in a minute. If you suffer with shin splints, well, everybody should use it, but if you suffer with shin splints, it's probably because your calves are too weak and your tips are too weak. So you can fit some of this into your training. Right, so Bulgarian split squats first. I'm just doing his body weight, I think. I might add some weight, I don't know yet. We'll see how we feel. Right, so focus on heel down, always heel down, and this knee going down, and trying to keep this knee not going in, going out. There we go. And it's just the worst exercise. In terms of like viewing pleasure, this is probably not the best circuit to follow me on. Okay, and then the tib bar. So get in, slide back. Somewhere where you can pin your knees down, and then you just lengthen, pull up, load up here. That's nice and controlled. Underrated muscle, just to improve ankle range, tib strength, help with your squatting, your running, your jumping. Help with everything really. Not going to load too much, just, you know, if you ever think it's too light, just slow it down a bit first, especially on accessory moves, just slow it down a bit, try to get the tension in. Oh, yeah. There we go. Cool, so I'm going to repeat that 3 times. Bulgarian split squats, single leg calf raises, tib bar, and then that'll be my like calf conditioning. And then I might do a bit of core. Okay, right, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video of what Stella's doing, and I'll see you in the next episode.